like literally coming out of bed and just like getting on these Zoom calls and maybe not dressed appropriately. But it's, let's enjoy that moment, you know, let's enjoy the fact that we can do that. Like I'm enjoying the fact, I mean, I'm challenged with having a first grader to teach, literally having a first grader to teach for 3 to 4 hours a day, where I am, she can't do anything by herself. Like I have to actually sit with her and do the work with her and explain it to her. She will not do it on her own. If I walk out, even just for 2 minutes, I come back to like this. This is what I say. So I have to sit, so I've had to reorganize my schedule. So while that can be annoying, here's what I am happy about. I don't have to get up by a certain time, or if I do, it's my time. I don't have to worry about getting somebody out of bed, helping them get dressed, making them breakfast immediately because they have to rush out to get to the bus, get on there. So we literally, she gets up, she gets herself dressed because we're not in a rush, and I could put the breakfast in front of her while she's online. So I like those little moments, you know, so I have a little bit more moment to myself. So these are the key pieces. Mindfulness practice and self-care is about like shifting, like deciding what's working for you at this given time. If it's not working, then we need to shift. So mindfulness is about being aware. So let's move forward. Okay. So I'm just going to keep it really simple for those that have never, ever heard of the word mindfulness before. I don't know where you were if you've never heard it before, but I'm not going to make assumptions and no judgments. Okay. So if you've never heard of it before, or if you're not sure of the definition, so I'm going to keep it really simple with this presentation. And so I am going to talk about, you know, what is mindfulness and what is self-care? Why do we need to practice mindfulness? Why do we need to practice self-care? And I think especially now with everything that's happened or happening, mindfulness practice has become very in our face. Like those of us that have really grabbed a hold of mindfulness practice and self-care prior to any of this might have found it a bit easier to shift with everything that's happening, because we've sort of been doing this all along, because that's what mindfulness practice teaches us, is to basically shift and refocus. So it might have been a little bit easier for us. I'm going to say that it was like we had it down, and no, because if you come to my house at any given time when I'm working with my 6-year-olds, the mindfulness sometimes goes out the door and I have to redirect. And so, and actually that's part of mindfulness. Part of mindfulness practice is also, you know, knowing your truth, like being accountable and giving yourself permission. So we're going to talk about why it's important and how to do it, because there's so many different ways and it can be overwhelming. And then when you can do it, right? Does it have to be at rigid times? You know, how flexible is it? And so it depends on what type of mindfulness we're going to do. All right. So, and any time that you want to take a picture of the screen, feel free to do so as well, because there's a couple of slides that have a lot of information on it, and you may find it like really helpful to just take a picture. It's just so much easier than writing notes. Okay, so basically mindfulness is this: basic human ability to be fully present, aware, where we are and what we're doing, and not be reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. Or more simply put, it's noticing what is happening right now. So I have to move my cluster of people because it's cutting off. So let me see how to do this. Okay, well, we'll just wing it. So I might not be able to, if something's really far to the right of my screen, I might not be able to read it to you, but you'll see it. So we're good to go. So I like the bottom one, from Blissful Kids. Keep it simple, right? Because it's for kids. But, you know, we're like that. Adults, we have so much stuff going on in our life. I'll keep this presentation clean. I've been known to have a very colorful language sometimes when I'm lecturing. So we have a lot of stuff. And so we want to sometimes keep things simple. So keep it simple, noticing what is happening right now around us. But it's even beyond that. It is that awareness, but then where do we go from there? It's like you could look at it and say, I'm noticing that my house is a complete disaster and there's clothes and stuff everywhere and I'm losing my mind. I've noticed that I'm very aware of. Okay, so that's the start, but then where do you go from there? Okay, so let's talk about the self-care. So let's define self-care. I almost forgot about this side. So self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health, the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. I actually love, love, love that definition. I love the idea of saying that we are taking an active role. We're taking an active role in our own lives. Well, we're taking an active role in our own life. And, we're giving ourselves permission to take care of ourselves. For those of you that have heard me lecture before, you know that I come from a very typical Italian background. I was raised with a very strong mother and a very strong grandmother who it's like you put everybody first. It's like everybody first, and you're lucky to get crumbs off the floor to eat. Everybody's first, and it's that kind of like martyr syndrome. And but let me tell you, it's not sustainable. That's the problem. And when you're raised that way, it becomes habitual. It's like, oh, well, that's how I have to be. And that's how I pretty much lived my whole adult life until I hit my rock bottom place. And then I had to redirect. And then I started to look at it and say, okay, well, you know what? Just because I put myself first doesn't mean I'm self-absorbed or arrogant or egotistical and it's me, it's about me. It just means that I realized that I am a powerhouse in my household. I take care of everything. I'm taking care of my 6-year-old and her schooling. I'm taking care of my 16-year-old. I have a 26-year-old, and yes, they're all 10 years apart, and it's crazy. They're all girls. They're all moody, and you got it. It's the whole that is my life, right? But I also have 2 parents that live with me. They're seniors, and so I have to worry about them, and I have to make sure that they're taken care of, and then I have to run my business, and so there's a lot there. So we have those expressions that say, I can't afford to get sick. Well, the reality is I can't afford to get sick because there's so much, and especially now, like I can't have my parents go out to the food store ever, even though they like to do that. So I have to be the one doing all of that stuff. So there's even more on there. So I have to take care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself, then I can't take care of all these people. So when you put it that way, then self-care becomes really, really important in putting yourself first. So yes, I'm first. I'm in front of my kids. Now, some people say, oh, you have to put your kids first. No, that's not what I mean. My kids are everything. They are absolutely everything in my life. But I cannot guide them properly unless I take care of myself. So I am in the front, and they are right next to me, right beside me, right behind me, whatever way I want to look at it. Anybody that's dependent on you, whether they're like a child or they're an elderly parent, somebody that depends on you, or a significant other that's ill, then you have to take care of yourself, because you have to be the person out front. But here's the way I look at it with adults around you. If the adult in your life does not fit that criteria, like they're not ill, they're perfectly capable of taking care of themselves, then they are behind you. They are not in front of you, and they are not next to you necessarily. They're behind you. You have to take care of you, and they take care of themselves. They're, excuse the French, grown-ass adults, and they can take care of themselves. So it is important for you to take care of you. All right, so this has been a time where we've been tested for this. We have decided whether or not we're going to step up and take care of ourselves. So anything that was coming up in the past that you were questioning, I need to take care of myself, it has come full throttle right now. So prior to everybody getting online, Nancy, Laura, and I were chatting, and they were both saying that they're busier now than ever, or it's shifted. I'm busier now more than ever. I speak and coach, and all of my coaching is remote, so that hadn't changed, but it got busier. And then all my speaking stuff got pushed, got canceled, or rescheduled for the fall. But then all of a sudden, this huge section that I wasn't expecting sort of plopped in, and all this social media and contacts and all this interesting thing, all these things happen. And so I'm busier now than ever. Plus I'm homeschooling, so it is what it is. I'm grateful for it, but I got to be real that I've got to make sure I handle this. So the self-care is huge. And so this is one that I recommend you take a picture of, because this is good stuff here. And this is, some of you might have seen this before, because this is out on the internet. So this is great because it breaks it down. I like this because it breaks it down into the pieces. So you're talking about physical, emotional, social. You're talking about spiritual, personal space, financial work, Some of it is a little overlapping to a certain level, but it sort of details it a little bit more. And every single one is key. So, and I'll take a little one like from each. So, are you getting enough sleep at night? Okay. And that's a biggie. I'm getting up really early in the morning, and I'm also going to bed really late at night now because I have so much going on and I haven't divvied out, properly just yet. I'm still working on that, but I'm aware of it. But I'm also aware of my limitations, and I'm really honoring about that. I'm also working 7 days a week right now, unfortunately, but again, has to happen right now until I figure this out. And considering that the likelihood of my child going back to school for this year is probably not going to happen. I mean, the governor says May 21st or whatever it is, and the schools are sort of, but I don't think it's going to happen, so I'm prepping for that. So am I getting enough sleep? Not really, but my quality is good, so I'm okay. Not doing too bad. Stress management on the emotional side, social boundaries, that's a big one. Spiritual, time alone. Who's got time alone? I have a huge house full of people, but you take it. And I've said this to clients before, listen, if you need your space and you can't get it because you have a house full of people, take it where you can. Go to the bathroom. Because most people are not willing to follow you into the bathroom. Unless you live in my household, then that's not a sacred space. They come in, they have to have a conversation with you. You lock the door, it doesn't matter. My 6-year-old knows how to open the door. She literally takes the butter knife and unlocks the door. So that doesn't work for me. So my space is really early in the morning when everybody is sleeping. Everybody is sleeping, including the pets. They're not even asking me to take them out. So that is my sacred space. And then if during the day I need that space, then I find it somewhere else. I can go outside, or I'll just flat out say it. I need to go in my room for a minute, just, for a few minutes, just leave me alone. So there we go. So time alone, hobbies, knowing yourself, safety, and then, hold on a second. Financial stuff, budgeting. Oh my gosh, some people are not having money coming in. Some people are doing well. We still have to budget, right? And then time management, or I like to really say is self-management, because really time is constant. We have 24 hours, there's no question. But what we need to really do is manage ourselves. Okay. So again, see how I go? I'm already not even halfway through this, and I am not even close, I'm coming down to that mark of 20 minutes. So let me go a little faster. So it's about being present. Mindfulness is about being present and being aware. So it starts with awareness of self, awareness how you're feeling, awareness of what's going on around you. Because the moment you become aware of something, then you can create make a decision, you can create a choice. So if you are feeling stressed out, you become aware of how you're feeling. You become aware of the emotions that are there, and you honor yourself with feeling that way. You don't guilt yourself. You just say, okay, I'm aware. I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm aware of this. Okay. Then what do I take from there? Okay, well, I'm in this present moment. This is how I feel. What can I do about it right now? So being present is living in that now. See, we've had a really bad habit of just always living in the past, thinking about past stuff that happened, bad stuff that happened, or even the good stuff. Like right now, if you're not in a good space, you're thinking about 3 months ago or 4 months ago when you were in a good space. Oh, business was great and blah, blah, blah. But the interesting thing is that a lot of times, even what we're thinking our past was isn't necessarily true. It's something like 80% or something like that of what we think happened in our past isn't even true. And so we may think our business was doing really, really well 4 months ago, when in reality it was iffy, and then this just took it over the edge. So and this is part of mindfulness practice, is owning your truth, knowing your truth, and being accountable. And so we can blame it all we want on this, and some of it is legitimately part of this, but some of it could have been, okay, what maybe I was doing something wrong then, and let's take this time. But it's about being present. Now we also then focus into the future. We throw that into the future. Okay, my God, I don't know what's going to happen. And we've done this all along anyway. So these are the terms that have been coming up, right? Any news media, anything that pops up onto like your email that comes up from people. This is the term: unpredictable times and uncertainty. in this time of uncertainty, in this time of unpredictability, okay, newsflash, when was life ever certain and when was life ever predictable? But here's the thing is that we jump on it. Like we jump on it, go, oh my God, life is so unpredictable and it's uncertain. Is it a little worse than normal? Okay, yes, absolutely. We're not going to deny that. But there was never a certain, never certainty. So if your business was struggling before and now it's come to a head right now, you can't blame it on this. You have to blame it on what was coming up before. So you have to look at it in this moment. So instead of saying like unpredictable, uncertain, focus on what is certain. Focus on what you know, even if it's just for a short period of time, what's predictable. Like I'm certain that I'm going to have breakfast this morning. I can predict that I'm going to take a shower. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but that's what you're going to do. And you also, now you could go both ways with this. You could use the negative and say, I'm going to be certain today that I'm going to be miserable. Well, that's true because you just made that choice. See, this is based on choices. So what do you know? What do you know for sure? If you don't know it, then don't focus on that. And that falls into that category of unknown. Like when we step into that unknown, when we think about the unknown, we're thinking about the future, and then we start panicking and the fear comes up. And listen, media is really good about that. Like they want you to live in that headspace of that fear-based headspace. Oh, we don't know. This is going on. We're looking ahead. Businesses want to go back. Then we're saying that it's going to spread. So there's this like back and forth. And then now they're saying that in the winter, it's going to get even worse with COVID. It's going to come back again and we have to be prepared. And so you're coming from all these directions when all you want to do is just sit down, have a cup of coffee and just kind of relax for a minute and all these things are flowing. So just take one step at a time when you're feeling overwhelmed, but it starts with being present and being aware. So let's look at the bigger picture. And this is everything that mindfulness is. And I want you, when I finish putting the slide up, I want you to take a picture of it because this is what you have to consider. So again, it's about being present and being aware at that moment in time. Consciousness is exhausting sometimes. We live most of our day in a subconscious program, but we've had to become very conscious about what we're doing and take those moments to go unconscious a little bit. You have to, veg in front of that TV sometimes. That's part of mindfulness practice. Even though people go, oh my God, watching TV is a mindfulness practice. Yeah, sometimes you have to shut off. And it's not that you want to go to sleep and shut off. You want to be there and be a blob, and it's okay to be a blob. But don't do it like all day. You just say, okay, I've finished my day. I have nothing else to do. I don't feel like reading. I don't feel like going to sleep. And I'm going to watch my show. Okay, fine. All right. It's connecting. We're connecting. So I've liked the term physical distancing. I don't like the term social distancing because we are socializing now more than ever, I think. Maybe it's just me. So we're connecting. We're just connecting in a different way. So we want to stay physically away from each other, but we like the social connection. So we don't want to get rid of that because we don't do well. Humans do not do well without that social connection. We will get depressed, and we've seen it, and we know this. Mindfulness is about is accepting of things, with that which we cannot change. We can't control everything. So we have to accept that. We also have to accept who we are at any given moment, but we know that we can change. It's the only thing that we can change. So you accept who you are at this moment in time, but know that you can change it. Being non-judgmental, that's a big one. We cannot understand what people are, one person saying they're like very focused on, oh my gosh, this is really awful. And we can't get through this, and I got to be extra careful, and I don't want to go out anywhere. And there's other people that are walking around with no masks. And we need to not judge. We have no idea what anybody's background is. We have no idea what anybody's gone through. We have no idea what's going through people's heads. And we do what's right for us. That's it. So if you don't like people not wearing masks when you go out and gloves, you're wearing your mask and your glove. You're good to go. Really, truly. So don't worry about them. Don't get mad at them for that. Just be compassionate, which is going to be on this list, by the way. So just come from a place of compassion. Be open to possibilities. Listen, you can really, really go far with what's going on right now. There's this really great quote that came out, and I don't know who said it, but it said, if you don't come out of this quarantine with a new skill, your side hustle started, more knowledge, you never lacked time, you lacked discipline. And I'm going to tell you, from my end, that is so true. I am busy. Like I look at it and go, I have 4 hours a day. I got to work with my child. I'm cooking for everybody, breakfast, lunch, dinner, more than I've ever done when she was at school. And I'm busier and doing more. And I said to myself, what the hell was I doing when she was in school? Like, where was all that time that I could have been doing all this? And I realized that it was me. Like, I didn't discipline myself. And so now I'm forced to discipline myself. So now I've been open to the idea that, okay, you know what? I got this. I could do this. So when she does go back to school, I have ample time to fit in all these extra things and above and beyond that. Okay. So be open to possibilities. Be at peace. Mindfulness is being at peace. You have to take those moments of peacefulness, whatever way you define that to be, however you can get it. Be accountable for your actions, your non-actions, your reactions, your, just your emotions. Be accountable to that. But you also want to allow space for it. If you're going to be frustrated and upset and aggravated what's going on, it's okay. You know what? You're not alone. You're going to feel that way. You just have to not let it drive you. You just have to not let it. You have to take responsibility for that and say, okay, I'm acknowledging that I feel this way, but I need to move on. You don't want to attach to things. Listen, everything's going to pass. Do not attach to the things that are going to pull you down. So how do you connect and stay detached? You connect to the things that are meaningful to you. You detach from the things that do not serve you, that will not help you grow. You be grateful every single day. Gratitude has been lifting me up. Even when I'm frustrated and my daughter's not getting it and I'm losing it, I'm like, I'm so grateful for this moment. But then I make myself laugh, I'm grateful that my daughter's sitting here and I love my kid. But I laugh about it. But that works for me. Being focused, okay? When you lack of focus, you get stressed. So take those moments to refocus yourself when you need to. Compassion is huge. We all have to be compassionate. And I think this is what this has brought to me. I have been living my life this way. I've been pushing myself to be more and more compassionate daily. And I'm seeing it more in people, but I'm also seeing people struggling with it. And I think we just have to let go and just allow it. Just allow that heart to open up, letting go of whatever, of judgment, letting go of what we think we know, what we thought we knew, whatever, just let it go. And then being responsive and not reactive, which is very challenging right now, I will tell you. And then knowing your truth, knowing who you are, admitting to it. I have to admit, I can't handle this. Like, I can't do it. And I actually broke down with my 16-year-old yesterday. And I said, because she said something to me and it triggered me, and she was trying to tell me how to be mom. And I appreciated what she said. But I started to cry because I said, I can't do it. Nobody's helping me. And it's my fault because I haven't asked for it. So that's the key thing. Or maybe I have, but I wasn't as clear. But I haven't also felt like I've had the time to even ask for it. And so the martyr Italian background comes in of, well, they should see all this and they see me doing all this and they should know better, but don't shit on me. I won't shit on you. So I broke down and she instantly came up with an idea, and she got on the phone with her sister, my 26-year-old, and said, Mom needs help with Charlotte. So you're not working, you're collecting. Is there any way that you can start taking on the responsibility of teaching her and doing the pro? And she just took it upon herself. And she came back with me and she said, okay, she's going to call you tomorrow. She said it should be able to work. There's no problem, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, and then I became very aware of the fact that I was not wanting to let go of some of that responsibility. And so at first I was just like, well, I don't know. And then she's like, what are you talking about? You just said you were stressed and you want this. And I was like, oh, the student has become the teacher. And yes, okay, I will honor the fact that I need to let that go and trust in the process. So constant reminder in transformation. When you're transforming your life, it's constant, and you are never, when you're the teacher, you will always be the student. It goes back and forth, and I love it. That's what I love about transformation. So mindfulness and self-care, why do we need it? Okay, so this is how your household is. Everybody's happy, you're stretching, everything's perfect. Look how clean everything is. The reality is this is how we are, some of us right now. And you may have a fairly good grasp on things, but there will be moments where you do not. And oh, of course, the toilet paper. So we were on a call. It was Monica's Authentic Connections. And I think, Monica, I think it was Tanya that said it, that because we were talking about toilet paper, and she said, I think she said WB Mason. So if you go to WB Mason, now I spent 2 weeks off and on. I had toilet paper 2 weeks off and on, Stop and Shop. I was like, it's not there, it's not there. I'm okay, until we got down to like 2 rolls in a family, in a household of 6 people. I said, okay, this isn't gonna work, because apparently we all have very good bowel movements, and so I'll just leave it at that. So we go through a lot of toilet paper. And so finally I said, okay, I'm gonna go this morning and I'm gonna go get toilet paper. And I went to Stop and Shop and there was none. So I literally went to 3 different stores looking for toilet paper. So I spent like a good hour of my time driving and going places. And I finally found it and I grabbed my toilet paper. And when she said WB Mason, I said, that's it. I am not gonna be without, I'm not gonna worry about this stupid toilet paper. And sure enough, I went on, got 80 rolls of toilet paper, so we're good to go for our rear ends over here. And it came the next day. That was the best part about it. It like came the next day, got delivered to my house. I even said to the guy, thank you to the delivery man. You have no idea how wonderful it is, what you did for me. You brought me toilet paper. And he, of course, he started laughing. And that made me feel good. So don't panic about the toilet paper, all right? Okay. So here's the deal, and I'm going to do this really quickly because we are almost out of time. So the stress response is normal for us. Acute stress response, fight, flight, or fright. We react the way we're supposed to, but the goal is to get back down to this. It's meant to be short-lived. That is the way humans are. That's actually the way anything with an advanced nervous system can deal with short-term stress. We react appropriately, and then we come back down to our balance, homeostasis, okay? Here's the problem, and it's not just now, this is always our problem, is that we as humans tend to be in a chronic state. Because of our wonderfully advanced brains, we don't shut it off. So what we think is happening, and might have happened like 2 weeks ago, and we're thinking about it, we are literally reliving it. Our brain knows no different, and our body responds in a chronic stressful situation. And over a period of time, this will end us. We will get sick after a period of time. It's like running your car, your brand new car that you just pulled out of the lot with no miles on it, and you constantly are running at high RPMs. So even when you're stopped at a traffic light, you put it in neutral and you keep the accelerator up because you like hearing the sound of the engine and it's exciting. But after a while, that engine is not going to last. So we have got to ground ourselves, and that's what mindfulness practice and self-care does. So this is what happens. So I'm just going to put that up really quickly. This is what happens when we live by the hormones of stress. We are impulsive, reactive, defensive, disconnected, angry, sad, fearful, and anxious. And you might have been feeling some of these things, right? So and if you want to take a picture of this, this is a perfect one to take a picture of. It's just a reminder, right? So whenever you feel this way, you're reacting. This is stress. Okay, and again, sometimes it's good. You know what? If a car's coming at you and they're veering in your lane, you want to be impulsive and move out of the way. That's normal. But if you're finding that every single day you're waking up feeling any of these or all of these, then you're going to have to redirect. And then this is what it leads to. So I'm going to plot this one up really quickly. So this is what it leads to. And again, take a picture of this. Anxiety, depression, digestive problems, headaches, heart disease, sleep problems, weight gain, and it could even be weight loss, immune dysfunction, and memory and concentration impairment. I think I spelled dysfunction wrong. I think it should be a Y. But this has been ongoing. I mean, this is not new to now. We've had these all in, but now it's just come to, ahead. And let me tell you, we need our immune function. We need our immune system to be working properly because of what's going on. So this is what it will lead to. And some of these might not be noticeable right away, and some of these will. Heart disease is a long-term thing. It comes on, and then all of a sudden we have a heart attack, and we say, how did that happen? Happened 20 years of, not dealing with stress and not eating right, not exercising. So this could be a long-term thing. So we have to find that balance. So the key thing is being in the moment, taking moments throughout your day to be present, be aware, and decide what's going to work best for you. If I'm not doing really well with something right now, maybe I have a moment to step back from it? And if I don't have that moment, when can I make that moment happen? Because sometimes you really don't have that moment, but maybe you can do something during that. So like you could squish things, you know, like you could get one of those stress balls, and if you're in a meeting, you have a lot going on, then start doing that, or play with putty. I mean, anything that makes you, calms you down. So, right, starting your day, this is exactly how we all look when we get out of bed, right? We're all beautiful. The light is just perfect, white sheets. Not at all. Like, it's like, it looks like a train wreck and when I get out of bed. I look like a train wreck. Okay, so here's what I want you to consider when you start your day. And again, I'm going to put this up quickly. All right. So wake up grateful before you even put your feet on the ground. Just wake up grateful. Think about what you're grateful for. Plan your day before you get up. It'll change, and it could change, but you just redirect when it changes. But get an idea of how you want it. Set an intention for your day. Take time to breathe. That's something that we don't do. When we're stressed, we either do shallow breathing, or we hold our breath. And take time to stretch. Do what dogs do. It takes them forever to get up. Dogs and cats, they do this whole big stretch routine before they get out of bed, or up from the ground, wherever they are. We don't do that, okay? So take that into consideration. Throughout your day, breathe, practice gratitude, smile. I put a smiley face on my my mask because I can't stand the fact that people can't see me smiling. So I had my daughter, who's a really good artist, she drew a very realistic smiling face. So that's been great. Mixed bag. Some people think it's really weird. Some people laugh at it, but I have a good time with it either way. Be happy, feel. Don't be afraid to feel. Look and see, hear and listen. Think, then speak. That's a lesson for all of us, all of the time. Take time to do whatever. Get out, get out, take a breath, outside, go for a walk if you need to. Just sit, look around. Limit distractions. Take a break from whatever that is. All right, stretch. You could stretch while you're on these Zoom calls. If you don't want people to see you stretching, just close your video for a second and tell them what you're doing. I'm going to stretch for a second. I'm listening, but I'm going to stretch for a second. And I guarantee you'll start like this chain of reaction. Like everybody's going to want to do that. Exercise, do yoga when you can. Everybody's doing online stuff, so there's no excuse. Meditate, make the space for it. If you can't meditate, there's so many different ways to meditate. Visualization is perfect. And when you visualize, it's beyond that, manifest. Manifesting is visualization 2.0. It's visualization on steroids. It's seeing it, feeling it, smelling it, tasting it, hearing it, and just have fun with it. Just be in that space at that moment in time. Get a massage. Right now, we can't do that, but pretty soon we will be, and give them business because they're going to need it, right? And then at the end of your day, so ending your day, again, right? This is exactly how we end our day. We're not sitting in our beds, on our computers, doing last minute work. We're not, sitting up in bed going, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do tomorrow? We're not doing any of that stuff, right? We're just all nice and calm like this, okay? And so when you end your day, here's some things that you can do, okay? And again, I'm just going to put these up. So again, practice gratitude. And you can do this all day. Like I said that in that last slide. There's no limit. If you're having a frustrating moment, think about what you're grateful for, but do it at the end of your day. And then take time to breathe. Don't hold your breath as you're doing your gratitude, and reflect on your day. How was it today? Was it a good day? If it was great, what can I take from today and bring it into tomorrow? Was it a bad day or challenging day? What did I learn about today? What did I learn about myself? What can I do differently tomorrow? And really, when you think of it that way, there really is never a bad day. And say, in the end, after your day of reflection, you know what? Today really was a great day, even if it was not. It was a great day because I learned this. And I know what to do differently. And even if I don't know what to do differently, I know that I can ask for help, and I can see. This is what happens with mindfulness, is that you know there's options. You don't feel closed in, and you know that you can reach out. You can go for that lifeline. You can utilize your own skill set and learn. And really quickly, I know we're past, but I just want to share some with you. So there's something called the 20-20-20 principle, and it's by Robin Sharma. And the 20-20-20 principle says this: if every single day you do 20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of contemplative thinking, and 20 minutes of studying, so learning. If you do 20-20-20, so it's 1 hour a day of all these things, then you will be that much better. And listen, this is the time. I know we can't fit it, but we do. So I've been doing that, and I've been doubling up, what I call piggybacking. So when I'm on the treadmill doing my 20 minutes, I'm also doing my personal development. I'm listening to something, I'm learning something, and then I'll go back to it if I have to, and I'll take notes if I can't do it while I'm doing that. So you can fit things in. You might have to get up a little earlier. You might have to redirect and rearrange your schedule a little bit more, and be flexible. You know, shift and flow. Like, be flexible. If you have a rigid schedule and then something pops in you didn't expect, oh, but this was my exercise time. Oh, now I can't exercise. Fit it in somewhere else. Where else, you know, what else can you do? I was doing exercise at 10:30 the other night because I didn't do my morning exercise, but I did it. You know, I said, okay. And then the last thing here is something called, from the Institute of Heart Math, which is what I teach with to all of my clients, heart-focused breathing. Very simply, you could do this any time of day. I often recommend to clients first thing in the morning when you're doing your gratitude and starting your day, end of day, but throughout the day when you're feeling stressed, 2 to 5 minutes. You sit quietly, hands on your lap, close your eyes, and you're gonna breathe in to a count of 5, like 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. You can breathe through your nose, in and out through your nose. You don't have to do in, nose, out, mouth, whatever is in your practice, whatever you feel most comfortable with. So you're gonna breathe 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And once you get that pace down nice and calm, like a little bit deeper than your normal, then you're gonna take your hand, you're gonna put it over your heart, and you are gonna focus your attention to the breath as if it's coming out from your heart. So as if your heart has a little mouth and you're breathing. And you're gonna do this for a total of 5 minutes. And that will rebalance you. That will allow for what we call heart-brain coherence. It will allow you to connect your brain to your heart. The compassion is here, the thinking is here, but we want to connect them so that you make better choices for yourself. And so definitely try that. If you need any more instruction on it, just reach out to me. You can email me, and I'll give you a little blurb on it. But it's really that simple. So it's really not that hard. Okay, and you don't even have to close your eyes. If you want to leave your eyes open, you can do that. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. So basically that's it in a nutshell, and I hope you guys got something from this. So good, I still leave 10 minutes for all this extra talk and any questions that come up. So let me unshare this or stop sharing this. And so did we have any questions?